When it opened 100 years ago, the Thomas Jefferson Building of the Library of Congress was called the most beautiful public building in America. It was a monument to civilization.
This is the Great Hall.
This is the Great Hall of
It is
the
great.
Jefferson Building. It is great. It's vast, expansive, kind of expresses the exuberance, optimism, and sense of inclusiveness of America at the end of the 19th century. This is Italian Renaissance.
The current Librarian of Congress is James Billington.
The idea was that you came in and kind of saw the whole story of America, that you had the sense of the great mottos and thinkers of the past, that you were kind of inspired to an attitude of reverence almost before you went in to actually use the books in the main reading room.
Even before you crack a book here, there's a lot of reading material.
That is the subtle idea, I think, that you're going to be, if not seduced by some of these quotes, at least inspired, impressed, or made curious about where they come from.
There's a somewhat more complete quote than we generally hear. Beneath the rule of men, entirely great, the pen is mightier than the sword. Oh, here's Minerva.
Here is Minerva. She watches over all this. She's the protectress of civilization as well as the goddess of wisdom. And here's the whole list of what civilization consists of.
Agriculture, education, mechanics, commerce, and so on. A long list there.
And of course, you see all kinds of things here. You see those globes representing, that's Europe and Asia holding that part of the globe, and that's Africa and America, depicted as an American Indian, so that you have a sense that the whole world is included, and this is a world library.
So this is an ambitious undertaking to try to represent the wisdom and knowledge of the world in one building.
Absolutely, absolutely.
In fact, so much knowledge has poured into this grand structure over the last century, 7,000 items a day, that the result was something of a mess. Open courtyards had to be filled in for book storage. Spacious rooms were stuffed with office cubicles, paintings hidden by partitions and false ceilings, murals and marble mosaics obscured by a century of soot and grime.
To restore a building like this, you have to kind of almost re-enter the world out of which it came. And it was very hard to find people with the right techniques of mosaic construction and so forth. So a lot of crafts had to be at least semi-rediscovered just in order to do the restoration properly. But it was a lot of work because these frescoes were all darkened and they had to recover the color of the originals, kind of like, not quite as ambitious as the Sistine Chapel, but the same general principle. You had to make sure you did no harm in the process of restoration.
It cost $6 million and took 9 years to build the Library of Congress in the late 19th century. It took $90 million, 17 years, and no small amount of ingenuity to restore it today.
It's interesting that the little rosettes you see up there contain sprinkler systems so that the fire prevention is neatly disguised without destroying the original decoration.
High-tech advancements presented James Billington with another challenge: how to modernize invisibly.
One of the reasons the restoration took so long is because of all these things that you see when you're behind scenes and you don't see with this beautiful marble exteriors. You know, the baseboards, they're hidden fiber optic materials as well as all kinds of electric light fixtures and that sort of thing. So this is the famous card catalog.
This is what everybody thinks of when they think about it.
That's right. Now we've kept the
Also
old
behind the
cases.
scenes
That's
now
the
is the familiar
versions
3x5 card catalog,
Steady progression
still available to researchers,
in,
but
cataloging,
replaced for the
but
most
many
part
people
by
still
computers.
love, and I must say I have a certain nostalgia for the old card catalog myself, although it only goes up to 1980. Everything after that you've got to get in the electronic.
But
Over here you can get a chance to see how we call up a book and how a reader finds a book a lot quicker than they could with the old card catalog. Let's see. Now, why don't we try Osgood? That's a good idea.
You do have
That's a good idea. Well,
With 540 miles of stacks long enough to reach from Washington to Detroit and 112 million items, the library has a universal collection. It has the best of everything, from the earliest photographs, maps, music, and baseball cards, to the contents of Abraham Lincoln's pockets on the night he was assassinated.
Two pairs of glasses. He had a billfold with some Confederate bills in it, and 9 newspaper clippings about his performance as president. He also had a linen handkerchief and
The arrangement of this is done in accordance with Jefferson's concept that human thought was really divided into 3 parts: memory, reason, and imagination.
The library marked its grand reopening this past week with an exhibit of American treasures such as Thomas Jefferson's rough draft of the Declaration of Independence.
Ladies and gentlemen, reading from the Declaration of Independence, the President of the United States, William Jefferson Clinton.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
At an opening gala, members of all 3 branches of government celebrated their patronage of this great center of learning.
As we walk through these beautifully restored rooms and hallways on this 100th anniversary, you can almost feel the exuberance and optimism of the United States at the turn of the century.
It is remarkable when you think about it, that the Congress of the United States is the greatest single patron of libraries in the history of the world. No royal family, no Medicis, nobody else has ever produced anything like this. And behind the Congress, of course, stands the people who elect them, so it's everybody's library. This morning, we are officially reopening the biggest treasure of them all, the original Thomas Jefferson building itself.
Yeah, we'll do it on 3. 3.
As a rejuvenated Library of Congress prepares for a new century, it is a store of wisdom, not only for Congress, but for us all.
A library is a gatekeeper to knowledge, a dream keeper of the people, really. That whatever the problems of today, tomorrow can still be better than yesterday, but only if we preserve that which yesterday has given us and that which those who've gone before have learned, created, and passed on to us.